Ooh, hey. Oh, we are back.
We are back. Yep. Live.
I just hope that I'm not lagging
I
at
think it's
all.
fine. I think it's okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about sales. Okay, so I think between you and me, we are probably like heaven and earth, an extrovert and an introvert. So probably the way we do sales is different. I don't
Do you
know
think
in
I'm
the
an
good.
extrovert?
Yeah, you
Oh,
are.
oh no. Oh no, girl. I'm not an
Oh,
extrovert.
yes.
Oh no.
Uh-huh.
I've had to train myself to seem extroverted. However, I am
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest introverts in the world. I only regain my energy alone.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm around too many people for too long, I shrivel up and die. I can't handle it.
Okay. When
So,
you're in an elevator, do you say hi to the
uh,
person who's in
it
it?
depends. It depends. Typically not. If they say hi to me, I'll say hi back. But I'm not like out there making conversation. I just have a face that people
Mm.
come up to and like will literally like run across the street to ask me for directions. Or like at the grocery store, I'll be like picking something up and they'll be like, "Oh, what do you think about these beans?" I'm like, "Uh, okay. Like I guess we're talking now." But I don't initiate things. Like I'm like a lurker. Like I'll be like in the corner of a room watching everybody until I like find the one person who I've decided is going to be my friend at this event or at this whatever, and I'll like beeline it for them. And that takes a little while. Like it's not like
Mm.
I just like go into the center of the room. I'm like, "Oh, hello." Like I take a long time, and it's usually someone who's like by the bar or like getting a snack, like an easy entry point. And I'm like, "Oh, like cool. I like that too." And they're like, "Oh yeah, hey." And I'm like, or my main one is, "I love your outfit." Bingo, bango, we're in. Or, "Oh, your hair looks great." Like some compliment, and then I just like slide right in to
Mm-hmm.
my new friend. And then once I have a friend there, then I open up and then I start getting loud and then we create a crowd. Cause like then I'm just loud and I seem extroverted. Everyone always thinks I'm extroverted though. And the true test of being an extrovert is if you regain your energy by being around people. And
Mm.
like if I have too many calls in a day, you won't see me. Like I live in a small place. There's like three of us that live here. They won't even see me for like 2 days. I don't know how, but they won't because like I'm like hiding and I need to like process and recharge. And it does not involve anybody at all,
Mm. Mm.
ever. And it's never done that. But when I was 15 and I had to start being a brand ambassador, I was terrified. Like my face was just like, "Ugh." And like the lady came up to me, she's like, "You can't look like that. Like we need people to come up to you and like talk to you and like you need to be loud and like you need to be drawing in a crowd." And so I had to train myself at 15 how to do that. And so when you usually see me in like a business sense, right? Like it's like giving a presentation or drawing in a crowd of like people who don't really want to be there, who are all like really shy. Those moments, that's when that switch flips and I just like I
Mm-hmm.
seem like the most extroverted person in the world. And it's literally like I had to go through intense training. So I empathize a lot with introverts. I
Mm.
understand extroverts a little bit. Like I don't really get it, like how they can be around people all the time. Like that just to me, I want to vomit and it gives me a headache. Like I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like leave me alone. So that's interesting. It's interesting though that that's how I come across because a lot of people think that. You can also tell by someone's mouth if they're extroverted or introverted in face.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And mine is like
How?
straight up introvert. You see how big your chin is? Like
All
if you think
right.
about your chin,
Uh-huh.
you see where my chin goes to on my lips?
Yeah.
It's like way bigger than my lips because if you look at my lips, I have like lines. They're like secret lines. Those don't count as my lips. That just means like I don't talk about what I do and I don't talk about my feelings. So my lips are actually this wide, and that cuts my chin, right? I'm an introvert. That's an introverted person. Whereas if you see someone who has lips that are bigger than their chin, like longer, wider than their chin, they're extroverted.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you can tell right away, like on a call, like if someone's gonna be like happy to be there or like super unhappy to be there. But that's like a big tell. Yeah. So I'm glad I come across that way, and you can keep going with your like, because obviously like I've trained myself to be extroverted when I need to be extroverted. But I mean, now I'm 34. Like that literally took years. I mean, I got it pretty quickly because I was getting paid a lot of money to like be out there. So it made sense to me, but
okay.
Yeah. Everyone always says that. They're like, you're an extrovert. I'm like,
So
I'm not an extrovert.
But as an introvert, what do you think like the biggest hurdle is like for you when you were even thinking about that transformation or that training to become extroverted?
Yeah, my energy levels, just like how to keep up that, that vibe of like, oh, like I've got to put myself out there, which is already like, no, I want to be in bed with a book, or like, oh, I've got to like be happy all the time. And I'm like, oh, like whatever, I'm not feeling like that right now. Or like, oh, I have to like approach this person or this group of girls. Like I was 15. Sometimes our clients were like groups of like girls who were like 18. So like the super cool girls that like, I'm like, wait, what? Like, I've got to like go up and talk to them. Like, oh my God. Or like a group of guys. I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
Like, so like just putting yourself out there when you don't feel like it, when you don't have the energy, when you'd rather like be at home alone with like a cute animal or like a book or like anything but what you're supposed to be doing. Those are huge obstacles, and they still are huge obstacles. Even when I like notice on my calendar, like, oh, there's like so many different appointments today, I like start to get like, and so I've actually scheduled it so that no one can book back-to-back appointments. Like I have like 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after if someone does book, so that if I need to go to a breathing exercise, I have time for that. If I need to have a 5-minute cat nap, I have time for that. If I want to refill my coffee or go to the bathroom or whatever, like I have time to like decompress. So it's not constant back to back to back to back, because I'll get a migraine, I'll get sick, I usually vomit, and then I'm out for like 5 days because I'm like sick, but I'm not really sick. It's just like I've depleted all my energy. So I've had to come up with strategies to work around that so that I can take those micro pauses and recharge, and like lead a workshop with the energy that everyone talks about. Cause like anytime you talk to someone about me, they're like, oh, Hillary's got like this great energy. Like she's so, I'm like, well, yeah, I work on that. That's something I actively have to bring. And I mean, yes, I am hyper, I have ADHD, so I have a hyper energy already. That's fine. If you know me and we're one-on-one, I am so open and like so loud and laughing and whatever, but those one-on-one moments like won't last forever. They'll last a long time, but then I go away and I chill by myself for a long time. And if you see me in like big groups and I'm not getting paid to be in the big group, I'm outside. Like parties, I'm outside. I used to smoke. I don't smoke anymore, but I was outside smoking. Like I was always like a bar party. I'm outside, like chilling. Like I'm not inside with the party. Never. Like unless if I'm cooking or like doing something like active in it, like I'm not the person who's like playing the party games or like, no. You'll find me outside, like at the cottage, like down by the dock by myself. Like can't handle like large groups. And I cancel on large groups all the time. I was invited out to a party for like web and for development and for all this. I canceled. It's like, thank you so much for the invitation. Like, I'm out. Bye. Like, I have this other thing to do, which I did, but like, I was not like driven to go. I wasn't like, oh, like FOMO, fear of missing out. I don't have that at all. Like, I've never experienced FOMO in my entire life. I'm like, people should be experiencing FOMO by not being with me. Like, I'm having a great time by myself. Like, so those are the types of things that I think of, like when introverts, you know, like don't want to like do something or like don't want to. Is that like what you feel if because you're saying you're an introvert?
Oh, like for me, I am very opposite. Like as an introvert, I treasure my energy a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like a monk almost. Like I don't like to talk because most of the time when people talk to me, it becomes gossip. And that's what like I'm like, I don't want to talk about other people if they are not there. I don't want to talk about like things that don't matter. Like if you're gonna talk to me about a movie you saw, like I don't care. You know, because I won't have the time to watch it unless I'm like, okay, I feel like watching a movie and you're talking about a movie and you know, and I find it interesting, then I guess that's fine. But I mean, truth be told, 9 out of 10 times, I'm not interested in what the other person has to say. So, I mean, unless you're talking to me about business or like, you know, or what happened with a client, then I'm like, oh, okay, because I can relate to that. But if you're talking to me about your colleague, I'm like, what the hell is a colleague? I've quit my 9 to 5 so many years ago, and you're complaining to me about your colleague. Like it seems so minuscule in a way.
Yeah.
You know, so I've come to that point where like there's this saying, right? Like you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So I listen twice as much as I speak, but because of the topics that people tend to talk about, I speak even lesser than I should speak. You know, I'm just generally not interested. Like I treasure my time and my energy too much for those types of things. And yeah, so a lot of people they think that I'm shy.
Yeah.
But
you're just not interested.
People, I just in my head I'm like, it's not that I'm shy, it's just I don't give a damn about what you have to say. I'm really not interested. Like I would just walk away in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah.
Because I'm really not interested and I don't want to like waste their time as well because they can probably tell that the person's not interested.
Yeah.
You know, so it's also a sign of like respect, but obviously not everyone sees it that way, which is also fine. You know, if you take offense, you probably don't treasure your time the way that I do. So, you know, I'm just gonna move on. So,
that's so
but definitely as an introvert, whatever you said, it really resonated. Like the way we recharge is just by being alone.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, when I have a sales call, I'm like dreading the sales call. I'm still gonna go, you know, it's like emotionally I'm like, fuck, no. I don't want to go. You know, but your body still goes to the computer and you still, you know, show up eventually. So it's kind of more emotional kind of like if it affects you emotionally, but after you have gone through it, you're like, you know, what was I afraid of? I have no idea. But the fear still comes up.
Yeah.
Like, even though you have done it like so many times before. So I think that's something that doesn't make sense to me because it feels like once you get used to it, you shouldn't be affected anymore. But for some reason, it is still there.
Well, because you never know what the person's going to be like. And like, you never know like if it's going to drain all your energy, if it's going to take so much, you know what I mean? Like you never know like what you really have to like bring to the call before you get on the call, which is part of the reason why I started doing face reading, because as soon as I see the person's face, then I at least have a map of how to communicate with that person. So I know, like, okay, straight eyebrows, I'm not going to use anyone's names. I'm not going to use names because this person is like me, who if you start bringing up names, they're like, would you shut up already? Like, I do not care about Joanne and Frank and Esmeralda. Like, shut up. Like, what is it that you're doing? You know? So like straight eyebrows, I know I love talking to straight eyebrows because it's just like facts, data, here we go, ba-doom, right? If they have round eyebrows, I start thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to come up with some like of my clients who I can actually like talk to them about. And I need to, one, remember their names, two, talk about like how it impacted their families and their like pets and their loved ones and their plants and like all of that. Like anything to do with like round is like lovey-dovey names and totally opposite of me. Like, so that actually takes a lot of energy. And I'm like, okay, I got this. Pointy eyebrows, I like almost just want to leave the call immediately because I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be hell. This is going to be a nightmare. And so I learned that you can just kind of repeat what they say a lot because pointy eyebrows have like done a lot of homework. They find themselves to be very knowledgeable about whatever they're talking about. So instead of like bringing in my experiences, which they don't care about, I have to validate their experiences. So if they're saying something, I have to be like, yes, just like you said this thing, that's what this program does. And then they're like, oh, da, 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 da. And I'm like, okay, well, just like you mentioned here, you know, as you said that this was an issue you were experiencing. It takes a lot of mental effort for me to sell to a pointy eyebrow. And they also are not someone who's going to like close the sale on that call ever. They're going to like go home. So like you have to be like, oh, like, let me know, like go away, think about it. Let me know if you have any questions and we can follow up on Wednesday at 5 p.m. And they're like, okay, great. Thank you. Bye. I'm like, okay. And then I need to like cancel any other appointment I've had that day and just like whatever, like go lie down. So that's really helped me though, because like when I was showing up before that to sales call or just like to talk to people or whatever, I was like expending too much energy, like how you're saying like you treasure your energy. I was like using way too much energy to try and like communicate with someone with round eyebrows or to communicate with someone with pointy. And so then I would be coming across aggressive. And then the comment was like, you're super aggressive. I was like, what the fuck are you even talking about aggressive? Like, you haven't even seen me aggressive. You want to see me aggressive? Like, I can get aggressive. Like, you know? So that was like, I started that 3 years ago now. And that honestly was like a huge game changer for me. Because when you're doing brand ambassador, you have a script, you have a face, you have to be smiling, you have to be like cheerful. And it doesn't matter. Like, you're not really in it for the conversation. You're in it to like give them something and then like be gone or like get them to like lead them somewhere. So that's different. Like, I didn't really need face reading for that because you just have to train yourself to smile for 17 hours a day and stand up for 17 hours a day and like not slouch and just like have your arms out. And then you're good to go, right? But when it actually comes to like sales, I was or even like presenting or communicating with anybody, that's where I was like really starting to struggle because I kept getting this feedback that I was so aggressive. I was like, what the heck? These people don't even know what aggressive is if they're calling me aggressive. But it turned out I was coming across very aggressively. So, you know, self-reflection, all that jazz. But that's been a huge time saver for me for sales calls. And not saying that I'm like excellent at sales calls. I'm super great at selling other people's stuff. Like awesome at selling. I joined a gym. I've already sold like two contracts for them. Like, like I'm great at selling. I was at my friend's house. He had someone come over for like a job, like to do some tailoring, like to fix a jacket. And
Mm-hmm.
I sold that for him. I was like, yeah, he can do it for you. It'll be great. No problem. The guy was like, oh, okay, great. Da, da, da. So I have zero problem selling other people's stuff. I have like so much confidence in other people, I guess. But when it comes to me selling my stuff, for some reason, that switch hasn't flipped that I can also sell my stuff with just as much confidence. Mind you, the last 2 calls I had, I could see it like starting to turn. But I wish that I could bring that same like gusto with me to my own sales calls. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. But instead, I'm like, oh no, I have a sales call. Ah. You feel that. So, I don't know. Yeah, like it's
Okay.
annoying. It's definitely annoying.
No, but I think you brought up some pretty interesting points. How like us selling like our friends things, it's so much easier because we can see how amazing they are.
Yeah.
Right, like we know what they can do, but also at the same time we know that they are great people.
Yeah.
So our perception of them is like, yeah, they can definitely do it. Like he does a great job and all of that. So it becomes very natural. It's not even us trying to sell the other person. We are just telling you that I've known him for a very long time.
Yeah.
He is a great guy and he can do it, So it becomes very second nature. But when it comes to us, we have the insecurities because for a fact, we know that we are not like the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And we kind of have that, I wouldn't call it imposter syndrome, but I would say it's more of a humility problem.
Yeah.
For the majority of us, we don't like selling ourselves because it makes us feel like we're kind of way over our heads sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. So my number one method of overcoming that, like I learned it last year, is that you need to build up on your proof.
Yeah.
And that's it. Right. So at the end of the day, I just let the results do the selling so that I don't have to sell myself anymore. Right. So like in the past, it was always, I have to tell you how many clients I've worked with, who I've worked with, if they have a big brand, and like I can show you what I've done. And at the end of the day, you're like, is it good enough? So you kind of have that a little bit, like you want to reserve a little bit, but at the same time, that you need to come off confident.
Yeah.
You need to come off like your stuff, so that they would have the confidence in you and they would want to invest. But I don't know how, but in one way or another, it always comes across as like a little bit fake, I would say. It feels like they can see right through you.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, in my early days, I couldn't get as many sales as I do now. Like for now, I'm very chill on my calls. I'm like just going through the sales framework and I'm speaking in a way that there isn't too much emotion because I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And I always go into the call telling myself that if you want to sign with me, great, right? That you are investing in yourself and I'm going to give you my all at the same time. But if you don't decide to invest in yourself, like I'm sad for you. Too bad for you.
I'm sad for you.
Like good luck trying to find like any other like miracle pill, Yeah, I always tell myself all of those things before I get on the sales call. So that I kind of just detach myself emotionally from the outcome of the sales call.
Yeah, that sounds important. That sounds really important. I started working with the gym I'm going to. I'm like redesigning their website for them, doing their user experience, super fun. And I was on a call with them and their business coach the other day. He's a guy who like buys up gyms and then revamps them and stuff. So he's coaching them. And it was so interesting to like see another coach. Like I was like kind of like off the screen, like sitting there, like
Mm.
taking notes. I had my otter like recording it and everything. And it was just interesting to see like what another coach brings. Like he had barred them from recording, so they couldn't record the thing, right? They had to like
Why?
figure out another. I'm just stating facts. I have no idea.
Wow. Okay.
So they couldn't record because like one of them was like scrambling trying to figure out like why can't I record? And I was like, oh, he's turned that off. I know that's a setting. He's turned that off. There was like he showed a few things, right? Like he showed them like, okay, like look, this is it. But it was like pretty fast, and he was just like showing them. Like he wasn't getting them to like do the thing. You know what I mean? Like it was like a show versus like an interaction. And they did one role play, which we had to like scramble to record, but I had my Otterbot, so it was fine. And then that was it. It was like 40 minutes, and then he was like, I gotta go by. And like for like 10 minutes of it, he was like, well, maybe not 10 minutes, but like 5 minutes, he was like actually getting his like power cord and like had to like move rooms and stuff. So he like just turned us off, and there was like nothing happening for like 5 minutes. And I was like, you know what? My coaching sessions are freaking awesome. Like they get transcripts, they can record if they want to, I don't care. They get an audio file of like what we discussed. They get like an interaction throughout the entire thing. So they're not just like listening to me talk about communication. They're literally communicating and then improving their communication as we go. They're like trying different things. Like it's not just like a passive. They can't just like sit there and nod at me. Like they literally have to participate. And at the end, I don't just leave them with like, okay, like shoot me an email. Like I follow up with them and like give them like, here are the links. Here's your homework again. Here's this. Like, here's what to prepare for next time. Goodbye. You know, like see you then. Like let me know if you have any questions. And it just made me feel like, because he's charging a lot and I don't charge that much. Like I was like, whoa, my fees are like super affordable. Like, whoa, like for what I'm giving, like, are you kidding me? And this was literally yesterday that it happened. And I was like, I am awesome. it like switched this thing. And so now I actually like I've got a few sales calls today. I'm gonna like share that and be like, you know what? Other coaches won't give you these opportunities. And like I give them to you for basically a discounted price. Like this isn't even like this guy's charging 6 times the amount that I'm charging and like giving like way less, like way less in basically the same kind of time frame too, right? And I'm not discounting, like he's doing a great job. Like he literally is doing a great job. He is helping out this group immensely, you know? So I could see like how much help they're getting from so little output, that like the help that I'm actually giving people is like huge. It's huge. And that just made me feel like better about going on sales calls, because now I know like what I'm comparing it to. Because like I haven't been on, you know, a coaching call with like somebody trying to improve that, like other than our coaching calls, but like you gave me so much, you know, so like it was very similar to like what I get. It's just like so much, there's so much happening and they're very interactive. I just like assumed everybody does that, but that is not the case at all, like at all. Like not even a little bit. So I found that fascinating yesterday to be like, wow, this guy. And he was like super chill, like just like in a t-shirt, like laptop on his lap. I was like, what? I have like my robots show up. Like I have like hotkeys to like make things faster. Like I could never just like show up on my like, wow, like what is happening right now? And it was just like, it was such an eye-opener. And it basically like I felt like I got that, you know how you're talking about, oh, it's easy to sell your friend stuff because you're like removed from them and you know them. I almost like had that experience with myself, you know, because I could like see what I do and then see this and be like, oh no, girl, like you got this. Like you got this. So it'll be interesting to see like what happens in the next few sales calls, because like it's been like a mental switch for me, you know, like literally from yesterday. But and I don't know how like you could like do that organically without like, you know, being on someone else's call and like figuring that out, you know, and seeing that. But it really solidified in my head like I have an awesome offer. And yeah, I'm sad for you if you don't want to take it. That sucks for you. Like, good luck. Bye.
That is the confidence that we all need.
Right? Yeah, but that like I truly believe that now. Like I truly believe that. Before I was like, oh, you know, like maybe you could do it by yourself. Like, no, not a chance. If you hire someone else, they're just gonna give you this crap. Like, no, like this is it. And it's so affordable. Like before I'd be like, oh, like, is this affordable? Like, yes, this is very affordable. Like, this is ridiculous. This is too affordable, in fact. And like by next year, they won't be the same rates. So get me in now.
You know one thing that I learned is that for coaching sessions, they don't do what we do. Whatever we are doing is not coaching.
It's not coaching.
Yeah, we're kind of doing something like a little bit next level because of the interaction and us bringing the materials. What we're actually doing is more of a like tutorship almost.
Yeah, it's like a masterclass. Like
it's something like that. So it's
not
like
coaching.
A one-to-one workshop kind of thing, one-to-one training, you know. So I never really like calling it a coaching program, because it's not coaching. I'm not like coaching you what to do. I'm literally doing it with you on the call. You know.
It's so different. Exactly. Like coaching is like you say a few things and then they go away and they implement it. That's coaching. You just talk. You're not really even showing very much, and then they go and do it. You're like, okay, bye. Like, check back with me if you've done it. Like, that's not what we do at all. Like, at all. I'm like, here's all the things. Okay, try this. Okay, do this. Okay, we're recording this. Okay, we're gonna video this. You're gonna watch your tapes. You're gonna blah 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 blah. Like, it's like so much more. Like more than you'd ever get from like a university class. You know, like no one's spending that much time with you specifically doing something so tailored to like your need. You know, it's unreal. It's unreal. Yeah, so I don't know, like even on my website, like I have it as like workshops, I have the coaching, but the prices are on the workshops page. So like when I send it to people, it's the workshops page and then they can see it. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. And actually like in the last calls, I was like, oh, like I have these different packages. You know, I feel like you'd be fine with the 3-session package, which is like the cheapest one kind of. But then I described the other ones and I described the differences. So I'm like, oh, in the 3 sessions, you know, we don't really have enough time to focus on anything but one specific goal. So if it's your interview skills, all we're doing is practicing your interview and like making sure that by the end of those 3 sessions, you have perfected your interview. If it's your portfolio, all we're doing is looking at your portfolio and like making sure that you can present it effectively. It's a nice story. You have your narrative down. But we don't have time to go look at other people's portfolios that you may want to emulate. We don't have time to also work on your interview skills. We don't even have time to record this. Like it's just you and me, and we are laser focused on this one thing. And then I have my 7 sessions and they're like, oh, what's here? And I'm like, we have a little bit more time to expand our research pool and check out, you know, other presentations that you really like that you may want to emulate. We have enough time to possibly work on your soft skills, like for your interview, and look at your portfolio. Like we might have enough time for that because we have 7 sessions instead of 3. But we still don't have enough time really to perfect more than one aspect. Like we're focused, but we can kind of like look at other things and bring in that research and use it. And it's like, but then I have the ultimate transformation package, and they're like, like, yes, let me tell you. Like, that's 13 sessions. And by the end, you will actually have a high quality video of you doing the presentation or doing the interview, whatever it is that they like want to do. I'm like, you will have a video of you doing that thing. So if it's for an interview, I'm like, you'll have a video about you. So you can share that with people. You can put it on your LinkedIn. You can do whatever. And it's your about me section, but it's a video of you describing that. If it's your portfolio, I'm like, you will have a 40-minute awesome video of you presenting your portfolio that you can send out to people. And they're like, what? I'm like, but it takes time to get to that perfect presentation level. And that's why it's the 13 sessions, because, you know, we'll do a recording, you'll look at it and be like, oh, I have to change all these things. And then you have to change all those things. It doesn't just happen overnight, you know, like it takes time. This is like a 3-month journey. It's not a 3-session fast laser focus. So, and then I'm like, what do you think means, like, what would be most meaningful to you or like most helpful for you? And they're like, whoa, this ultimate transformation package sounds awesome. Yeah. Right. So it's interesting. Like now that you have helped me kind of separate what those are, and that there are differences between them, and that I can't do everything in 3 sessions. I can't do everything in 7. I can do a lot in 13. It's really helped me kind of distinguish those things like during the sales call. And so I find I find it really interesting that like I'll try and pitch them on the low one, and then they always choose the high one. They're like, oh, but wait, like I want to ultimately transform. I'm like, yeah, you do.
Okay, that's interesting.
So it's interesting. Yeah. Because like it's like people, what they want, they don't know what they want, basically. Right. And like
They never do.
They never do, which is interesting with the closer method, because like when you're doing the listening part, the L part, and like how you said, you just pick one of their things that they say, because they're going to say a lot of things. Just like focus on one of their problems. The last call, in the listening portion, he like had no problems. From what he said, he had no problems. And I was like, well, it sounds like you don't have any problems. Like, what is it that's holding you back? Like, I had to like keep probing him, because I was like, well, you sound like you're confident in this. You've already have your presentation. Like, what is it that's stopping you from getting further in those interviews? Like, what happened? Talk to me about that. And then when we actually got to it after like 5, I had to like keep digging, because like he was not giving it up. Like he's got like big confidence. He was not giving it up. It got down to it. And then it turned out it was his portfolio presentation wasn't professional enough. Like wasn't like at the level, wasn't professional enough. And I was like, oh, and then I just latched onto that. I was like, okay, well, let's talk about that. Like, you know, and then like went into like offering the solution. It's like, well, I can't remember what I said, but it's like, we can work on making a professional portfolio presentation. You know, it's a few steps. Like you have to really nail your storytelling and your narrative, because people don't just want to look at slides. And he was like, oh, you know? So, and it's like, we can work on that. I have worked on that with other people, because he had like one round eyebrow and like one straight eyebrow. So I was like, okay, like I need to mention a name quickly. And so I did. And was like, and I mentioned a brand, because he had said like a brand name, like a big name that he was applying to. And so I mentioned a big name of one of my clients that like they actually got the job, that they were aiming for one big brand, but ended up at another one. And he was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, that was from their professional presentation. And he was like, okay. So it's interesting, like how you can like latch on to like what they've said, use their words, but sometimes they don't even think that they have a problem.
Mhm.
And you have to like
Mhm.
actually like dig in to like find the issue. Whereas other times they come on, they're like, oh, I can't speak English, I can't do this, I don't know this. And you're like, hey, wait, let me just like pick one of these.
Yeah. There's always two types of people. One is they are oblivious of how shitty they are. That's like the confidence level that I aspire to
Yeah.
have. Okay, that's one.
Mhm.
And then the other one is where they are like, I suck at everything and anything.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
all the help I can get, but actually they're not as bad as they think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Exactly.
always two types of people.
It's two.
So I think, I
Yeah.
think that's very interesting that we have both met, someone from both of these.
Both.
Yeah. Anyway, for the purposes of this video, I know that we are live, so I should probably just mention the framework very quickly.
Right.
So the framework that Hillary has mentioned, the closer framework, it's basically a sales framework that I picked up from Alex Hormozy. Right. So he uses and introduces the closer framework to many people. He created YouTube videos on that, and I found that the framework really helped me because I cannot work with scripts. And as a major introvert, it is close to impossible for me to take control of the conversation and still be present at the same time. Right. So I always need at least something to guide me, right? Like at least a guidance of some kind so that I know where to go next. I know what questions to ask next. And so that I know how to map out the entire plan to see even, whether whatever I'm offering can help the other person or not. Right. So because this framework has helped me so much, I have used the framework and I've taught it to my clients as well. Right. So that's why Hillary is talking about it. But I think what we can do for today, I thought it would be fun for us to do a role play, right? To kind of see, how we might perform. Okay, so since we have already established the fact that we are both introverts, that you are not an extrovert, right? But we do come off as two very different people, right?
Yeah.
Just from the way we talk, from the way we listen, the way we show up on meetings.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought it would be interesting to see how our role plays actually turn out. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm nervous, but I'm down.
I'm petrified right now.
My heart's like going quite fast. Like I have butterflies in my stomach, but like I'm good. I'm cool. Yeah, let's do it. Breathe. Like yeah.
The heart and the mind is just not in sync right now.
Yeah, everything's like I can barely see. No. It was funny.
Okay.
I noticed yesterday though, because like I've been doing boxing, right? And like usually I have a smile on my face. When I'm boxing, I actually can't smile because as soon as I smile, I can't see. So like I smile and my eyes get like really small and like my cheeks are really big and so they like go up and then I can't really see.
Yeah.
And so I noticed because like I was doing pad work and they were actually like coming at me and I was like, oh my God, I can't be smiling in boxing. Like I actually have to be serious. Like I can finally have my serious face on. Like, whoa. And then I got all happy about it and I was smiling and like almost got hit. It's like I have to like calm my cheeks down. So it's interesting. Like because you're right. Like I bring that like happy, cheerful, joyful energy to like, I mean, if I'm not in that mood, you can definitely tell, like for sure. But that's usually like how I show up on calls. And that's usually what people like comment on first. They're like, oh, you're so smiley. I'm like, oh, hi. Like, but in boxing, like I can't be like that. So it's really interesting, like to have both of those things, like to be exercising both of those parts of myself. Cause I think it'll actually allow me to like maybe calm down a little bit during sales calls. Apparently like 3 years ago when I'd get on sales calls, because like the house is really small everyone in the house would be like, you're really like high pitched and like high energy. And like, it's like, you kind of sound manic. Like you need to like tone it down. And I had no idea what they were talking about. And then I'd go back and review my tapes and I was like, oh, whoa, like, what is that? Like, that's like, it's like worse than like getting electrocuted. Like, that's horrible. You know? And then now they can't even tell if I'm like on a sales call or if I'm doing a coaching session or if I'm just talking to like, they can usually tell if I'm just like talking to a friend because I'm like super laughing, but like they're like, your voice isn't so high, like you seem more relaxed. You know how you're saying like you just like go with the flow? Like I'm almost at the level where I'm not like bringing like a shit ton of amps to the conversation. Like I'm just like, okay, whoosah. Like, because I think I think it's like a good thing, but I also think that it deters a lot of people because a lot of people like aren't used to showing up on screen. Like I've shown up to presentations and stuff and people like everyone's silent. Everyone's like kind of like no one's smiling. Like it's so awkward. So like I'll like go in and be like, oh, like, hey, I like your watch, little box over there. And they're like, ah, hey. And like we start talking. But I don't think that like my energy level doesn't need to like be so high showing up on conversations because I think it startles people. Like they physically like, like, oh my God, what was that? And so I don't want to like scare people away, you know? Because even like in real life, like that's a thing. Like people are like, whoa, Hillary. So I agree that our energy levels are like very different. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Am I the salesperson or are you the salesperson? I'm the salesperson, aren't I?
You can pick.
Oh, I can pick.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean, both of us will have to go at least once, I guess.
Okay. What would you like to do first, Agnes?
Okay, I would like to be the salesperson first.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Am I also a communication coach?
No, sell your thing. Or you can sell my thing. Whatever. That'd be great. Then I'll just copy you. But you know your thing, right? So like.
Okay, you know what? I think the best interest of, your sales calls, I kind of have to sell your thing.
Yeah.
Right. So let me just give that a try.
Okay.
Okay. Wait, just before that, you have 3 packages, right?
Yeah.
Just give me some context. Communication coach, mainly for UX seniors or UX designers.
Yep.
Okay. We have 3 packages. What are the packages and the prices?
Let me just pull them up real quick. I have the.
I mean, it doesn't have to be super accurate because
true.
I wouldn't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. So there's basically the communication clarity package.
Okay,
which
clarity
is 3 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's $443.
Okay.
Canadian.
Okay.
Then I have the confidence booster package, which is 7 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's $826.
Okay.
And then I have the ultimate transformation package, which the main difference is you get a video, like there's video recordings. And it's like we've got a long time to work through because it's 13 sessions and it's $1,253.
Okay.
Extremely affordable for what they got. It's like dirt cheap for what they're getting. From what I learned yesterday, my prices are dirt cheap. So enjoy, everybody, while they're dirt cheap.
We are going to increase them.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. But for this year, they're dirt cheap. Get in while you can.
Okay. How long are the sessions? 1 hour?
An hour. Sometimes they can go over, but like typically we don't need to because they work so hard. They're like exhausted by the end of it. They can't like handle more than an hour because it's interactive. They're not just listening. They're like really working hard.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Am I ready?
You're ready.
I'll never be ready, so might as
Just-
well.
Just do it. You just show up.
Just show up anyways. Okay. So, okay. All right. Let's start. 3, 2, 1. Hi, Hillary. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Agnes. Nice to meet you also.
All right. Thank you for jumping on the call with me. So, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to ask you a few questions, right, just to better understand your situation. And then from there, we'll be able to see whether my program will help you out in any way or not. Right? In the worst case scenario, if it does not help you, I can probably refer you to someone who can actually help you out. All right? How does that sound?
Great.
Good?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Hillary, what made you decide to jump on the call with me today?
Well, I was in a meeting and realized that I hadn't actually been invited to the meeting, and I had to just kind of show up by myself and like put myself there. And I'm getting really annoyed that people aren't inviting me to the meetings where I need to be because like I'm a UX designer, and it's literally infuriating that people aren't inviting me. I don't know why. I don't know how I could change that. I don't know what's going on, and it's driving me crazy. So it said on your LinkedIn, like you help with communication or something. So maybe.
Okay, that's interesting. Yes, I do. So I'm really curious, why do you think it might be a communication problem?
Well, I'm not even sure. Like, I'm the only designer on the team. So I don't even think that they know what UX design is or like how I'm valuable to the team. And that's why I'm not getting invited. And then I just, get told, oh, make these mock-ups prettier. And that's like technically not even what I was hired to do. Like I was hired as a UX designer, not UI. They don't even know the difference. So I think that I need to tell them more about what I do, but I am an introvert. I thought that they knew when they were hiring me what my job and my role would be, and it turns out they have no idea. And I don't really know how to, I guess, educate them. Like I guess I have to educate them, and I'm like not as interested in doing that as I am in doing my job. But it seems like to do my job, I have to communicate what I'm supposed to be doing. So it just seems strange. I'm pretty confused with it, and I don't really know how to make it better. I was thinking about just quitting and finding another job. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. All right. So, what have you done previously to kind of solve these issues that you have? Because it sounds like it is not the first time it has happened. Probably that is what has prompted you to contact me in the first place to kind of make a change, right? So, yeah, what have you done previously to change all of this?
Well, this is happening consistently at this new job. At my previous job, I was part of an entire design team. We were kind of in the center and worked with all the different groups. So everyone knew what our role was, and we never had to talk about it. We just got our assignments and did them. Um, Whereas now, being the only designer, uh, it's different because I'm not collaborating with other designers. I'm constantly talking with development or the engineers or the BAs or other people who I've never actually had to talk with, because before it was my product owner and product manager who would discuss that with those teams and then just bring it to the design team. And then it was just all designers. We'd all be talking and it was great. It was awesome. But I started here because now I got the senior design role, but it turns out it's the only designer in the company. And honestly, I'm at a loss. I don't really know what to do, because I'm very emotional, and so it makes me very angry. And I have talked to my project manager about it, and they just said, you just have to deal with it. So I don't know how to deal with it professionally and without just leaving, because I do like the product. I think it's really great. But I want to be involved as a UX designer. I don't want to just make things prettier, because that's really not what a UX designer does. So uh, I haven't done anything yet successfully. Nothing that I've tried has been successful. And I'm pretty new to the company. Like, I've only been here a few months, so I'm still learning like how to communicate with all the different groups. But there's a tension there. I feel a tension there. So I think that's why I reached out to you, because I think I need to work on my communication skills with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. Well, if let's say hypothetically I'm able to solve this issue for you, right? So it means that we decide to work together, and then you improve your communication skills and you find a way to kind of have harmony between all of the departments, and you manage to push out the product that you mentioned you loved so much. So if we manage to do that, what does that mean to you?
Well, I wouldn't be so infuriated. I'd feel better going to the calls. I'd feel included. I really just want to feel included on the team, like as the role that I've been hired to do. And I don't want to have to like fight for my position there. So I think that it would help me for the next projects or whatever else was coming along, like to just feel included. And yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I would like feel part of the team and not elsewhere. Because right now I feel excluded, and I don't like
Mm,
that.
mm, mm. Yeah, I definitely get what you're trying to say. Like, it's very important for us to, feel like we belong, right? Especially when we are putting in so much work and so much of our efforts into a particular project. So, yeah, I think it's really heartwarming that you want to do that for that product. Like, it must be a really great product.
It is.
So I feel that I can really help you, right? Based on the problems that you have told me, it's not something new. It's something that I've helped like past other UX designers as well. Like, they have been in the same position. So because I find that my program can actually help you, is it okay that in the next 3 to 5 minutes or so that I share with you a little bit more about what I do?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I am a communication coach for UX designers, right? So basically, I help UX designers to solve problems such as the one that you have mentioned, which is communication between different stakeholders as well as different departments, because we all speak different languages. And I understand that you have that pain, that kind of feeling excluded, especially when you are a part of that project and you weren't invited to the meeting. right? So all of those things I can help you with, right? So for my program, I actually have 3 different types of packages depending on your needs and on your budget. Okay. So my very first package is a 3-session coaching program, right? So since this is only 3 sessions, I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't think it's going to be the best for you, right? Because when it comes to a communication problem between different departments, it is not possible, at least I don't think that it is possible from my experience, to change that many things just within 3 sessions. But I just wanted to let you know that I have a 3-session package and it is priced at $450. So that's about $150 per session. And I charge my sessions in Canadian dollars. All right. If that is okay, I'm going to move on to the next package. I do have the next package, which is at 7 sessions. Right? At 7 sessions, it is only $840. So that reduces the price of each session from $150 to only $120. Okay. So I do not know whether 7 sessions will be enough for you, right? Because you do have a problem with communicating with different departments. Okay, we are not just talking about, within a small team or with just one particular stakeholder, like maybe your PM, right? We are talking about the dev team. We're talking about PM. We're talking about maybe, the CEO even or your senior. So there are so many multiple stakeholders in this case. So I do suggest you to consider my third and last package, which is the Ultimate Transformation Package. It is the 13-session coaching program, right? And the cost is $130. Okay, so for each session, it is only at $100. Okay, and most of my UX design clients, they do go with this very last package. Reason because it is the one that helps to ultimately transform them, whether it comes to confidence, mindset, or just the way they command the project and take control of the entire presence that they have during a meeting. Right. So I really do think that this last package will be useful for you. But ultimately, you can decide whether any of these sessions sound good to you or not. Okay. Do you have any questions with regard to my packages?
Yeah, what's a typical coaching session like? Like how long is it and what do we do in it?
Okay, so for each session, it is about an hour long, right? There are very rare cases where it kind of goes over an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes at max. But I have to say it is completely, it's very rare, okay? Because we utilize the full 1 hour session in an interactive format. So that is the ultimate difference between my communication coaching and other people's communication coaching. Okay, you're not gonna sit there and just watch me, go through things with you. Okay, that's where the fun comes in. We are actually both gonna be doing it together. So it's very hands-on, it's very interactive, and usually by the end of 1 hour, you will not only be exhausted because of how much you have learned, but you're going to have so much fun. All right. So that I'm going to promise you by the end of all our sessions, you'll definitely see a change in the way you communicate and in the way you command the attention in any room that you step into.
Okay. I like that. It sounds good.
All right.
And then is there like homework or like can I just like book all the sessions at once? Like how does that work?
Okay, so for our sessions, no, there will be no homework, right? Because everything that we have done is interactive. So I believe that even subconsciously after our sessions, you will still be moving your mouse in the way that we do during the sessions. Okay, so I've already designed the program in a way that you don't have any extra work to do, especially when you have to block time out and all of that, because I understand you still have a job to go to. right? So not everyone has that extra time. So it has been designed in a way where you still have your free time, but subconsciously you might still be exercising, and enunciating the words in the way that we have gone through during our sessions. So yeah, it's gonna be very fun, very interactive, and no extra work for you. What was your next question earlier? You mentioned 2 questions, right?
Okay. How can I book them? Like if I do the 13 sessions, how long does that typically take? Like can I book them all in a few weeks, or does it take, like, how long does that happen?
Okay. So for the sessions, we have a booking link that you can go to book your sessions. But usually, what I suggest is that we can come to an agreement on a day and a specific time, so that every week we just have to show up at the same time until all the sessions have been used up. But in the case where you can't make it to the session for any reason at all, you can just drop me an email or even drop me a DM on LinkedIn, right? Just to let me know beforehand, and we can arrange a replacement session just for that particular week. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds interesting. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So do you have any reasons why you're not ready to move forward today?
Well, I mean, $1,000 is like quite a lot of money. Um, and so I, I have like my kids, I have all of this others, like all of these other payments. So do you like, would I have to pay the $1,000 like all at once?
Mm, yes, the $1,300 price tag for 13 sessions, it is a one-time payment, and it has to be paid, you know, um, kind of today, before the first session. But can I ask, do you have a certain budget or an amount that you're more comfortable with to spend right now?
Yeah, like if 13 sessions, that might take like what, like 3 months to do. So, and it's $1,300, like maybe like, could I divvy it up into like 3 payments? So like one now, one next month, and
Mm,
one the third month.
okay. Okay. In that case, um, I am okay to split it up. However, I don't think that it would be fair for my other clients who do actually make the full payment right now. So what we can do is, on this day, right, for the next 2 months in addition, so total of 3 payments. What we can do is each payment of $500. So the total amount will be $1,500 instead of 1,300. Right, just to make sure that it is fair to the others who have already made the payment of 1,300. How does that sound?
Oh, that's interesting. Hmm. Well, then I might be able to just pay it all now, but I have to like talk to my husband before I just like make a
Okay,
big
is your
payment.
husband there?
No, he's at work.
Okay, cool. So you'll be able to have a conversation with him tonight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just out of curiosity, what do you think he would be concerned about?
Just that like it's like a big chunk of our like monthly expenditure allowance, but also like if I told him that the payment plan was a little bit more expensive, then I think he'll just go for this because he knows how frustrated I am at work right now. So, and I know how frustrated I am right now, but I just like can't make that big of a purchase without talking to him, you know? So,
Okay, that sounds fair. How about this? I will reserve a slot for the coaching program to start next week, right? Because today it's Wednesday. So I will reserve a slot for next Monday onwards, right? Because I do have to book a slot. I have a sales call after this as well. Okay. I will reserve it until tomorrow morning, right? So you can have a conversation with your husband tonight, but just let me know by tomorrow morning, okay, whether you're in it or not. If he does have any questions, can feel free to just hand him my LinkedIn profile as well. Like, I'll be glad to answer any questions. But yeah, I am really glad that you have decided to jump on the call to take a step and invest in yourself. So yeah, I think that's fine. I will check back with you tomorrow morning. How does 10 a.m. sound?
Perfect. That's great. That's great.
All right, cool. Do you have any other questions regarding the program?
Nope. I think I have everything here. So I'll talk to him and I will talk to you tomorrow at 10.
All right, cool. I will talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Bye. And scene.
Oh my God, I
It's-
stumbled a little bit.
I mean, you're selling something that's like that you just got notes for 2 seconds ago. So I think you did a great job. It's interesting how you opened up though. You opened up with an agenda. I've never done that.
Mm,
And I've
mm,
been told to do that multiple times, but I've never done that. Like I've gone to like different sales trainings and they're always like, okay, so this is what's going to happen. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And like, I don't know what happens when I get on the call with someone, but like that never, an agenda never comes up. It's like, and I obviously like have to bring up the agenda. Like I'm setting the meeting, you know what I mean? But
mm.
that is something like as soon as you did it, I was like, oh, very good. That's the agenda setting section of this call that like everyone says is so important. And for some reason, never makes it into any of my calls ever.
Okay, but do you feel like the reason is because it doesn't come natural to you?
It doesn't come naturally to me at all. Like, because like someone can give me an agenda and I will completely ignore it. I'm like, okay, thank you. Yeah, great. Goodbye. Like I've never like seen
Okay.
an agenda as something that like is useful because no one ever sticks really to an agenda. Like, I mean, you did here because it was so simple. I'm going to ask you a few
Mm,
questions and then we'll see if this program is right. If it's not, I can probably refer you to somebody else. If it is, it's like your agenda was like pretty succinct.
mm.
But typically if someone like hands you an agenda, they're like way off and you're like, why are you wasting paper? Like, why are you even like talking about this? Like you've just taken 5 minutes to tell me about something that's not going to happen. Like get to the meat, right? Like I'm more of like, oh, like, hey, like, where are you calling from? Like, I'm here in Toronto, Canada. Like, where are you at? And they're like, oh, I'm in Nigeria or like wherever. I'm like, oh, cool. Like I just like start talking to them and then and I just
Oh,
like,
okay. I think I see. I think I see the difference. Like for you, it's very conversational,
100%,
right?
100%.
For me, it's very cut to the chase. Like I hate it when I'm on a sales call and they're like, "Where are you from?" Like the first thing that pops in my head is like, "Why do you ask? Like, does it matter where I'm from
No, for
to
me, I'm like
me
interested.
personally?"
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I
Probably
get it.
that's the just for you. What's for you? Reality
Yeah.
face.
Because
Oh, it kind of feels because it's very
wait,
yeah
you're breaking
genuine.
up.
See it like why rail it.
Wait, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Are you back?
Am I?
I can hear you, but your face is frozen.
Oh,
I
yes,
can
I
hear
am.
you.
No, I'm not. Okay.
No. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. I feel like you might be back now.
Oh my God. Okay, but since you can hear me, am I?
You're kind of, it's choppy. It's choppy. No, I didn't hear what you said. I want to know why you hate when people ask you where you're from.
But can you still hear me?
I
Like
can hear you
clearly?
now. Yeah, now I can hear you. Yes.
Ah,
Testing. Testing. Are you back?
testing, testing. Am I back?
No. 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 You're very choppy.
No.
It's like,
Oh god.
we fried your internet. Your internet's gone. It's left. It's left the building. It no longer wants to participate. I've had enough of this. Goodbye.
Am I back? Yes.
Kind of.
No, we were doing so good.
I know.
But is my audio clear? Is it just my video?
Now your audio is clear, but before it was not clear.
Oh. If that's the case, I'll just stop my camera.
Okay, let's hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. That sounds better.
Yay. Okay, so you have a disadvantage now because you can't see my face.
I know I can't see your face. That happens all the time, though.
Try. Oh,
wait,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I want to know why, what it was that you said about when someone asks you where you're from, because I missed all of that.
I'll tell you at the end of the call. Let's start with the role play. It's your turn. Okay. So who am I?
You're
context.
You're a designer.
I am a UX designer. Am I junior or senior?
Doesn't matter. You can pick one.
Okay. What's my problem? What are the most common things?
So for juniors, most common things are they're trying to get their first job. They're not getting past like the second round of interviews. They don't know.
Broke.
They sound broke. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's do senior then.
So seniors they have probably just like started in a new role. They're the only UX designer on the team. They're having difficulty presenting in front of the stakeholders. They're confident in their designs, but when they go to talk about them, not so much. And they're having like they may have a junior that they're trying to talk to, and they don't know kind of how to manage that because it's their first time being a senior. They're trying to manage like expectations, and anytime they go to a meeting, the client ends up like giving them more things to do that aren't necessarily like within the scope. And so they're trying to just solidify that and like make sure that they're at the meetings, that they know how to communicate with everybody and not just be like a yes person. Like they can actually like share their opinions, but not their opinions, like share their insights in a way that makes sense to everybody, because they're usually very good visual communicators. So they rely a lot on their visuals, but a lot of the time at these meetings, they don't have time to go through their 100-page slide decks, you know, and like people get like annoyed with them that they're even bringing 100-page slide decks to anything. And they don't understand why people are so upset. So it's basically just like they've been relying on their visual communication skills for so long that they don't have just other communication skills. And if they don't speak English that well, then that adds another layer to it. And then they also, a lot of the time, like sometimes they are confident, but a lot of the time they're not. Like I'd say like 90% of the time they don't feel confident. So they use a lot of filler words, and they find themselves like in presentations using a lot of filler words. And when they do team workshops where like people have to give each other feedback, they'll get the feedback like, oh, you need to improve your English. Oh, you need to improve your presentation skills. So like they'll have received this feedback from colleagues and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do that. So
Okay.
typically
Okay.
the person.
So basically, it's someone who is a very good, or like relatively good designer, and has proven their competency to become a senior, but still hasn't really like grown into the role.
Yeah.
Like they don't understand how to control that responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Let's
You
play.
got it? Okay. Hi, Agnes. How are you?
Hi, Hillary. I'm doing good.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today on this call. I was just about to say, where are you located? I saw that you're in Singapore on your LinkedIn. I was on your LinkedIn checking out your profile, which looks awesome, by the way. I was reading your About Me section, and yeah, you're in Singapore. That's so cool. I'm here in Toronto, Canada. Lots of the time people think I'm in the States, but I am in Canada. And yeah, I'm really excited that you're here on this call. I know it's quite late for you, so we'll keep it really short. I just have a few questions, if that's all right. Can we get started?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Please. Yes. Okay. So on your LinkedIn, I noticed that you are a senior designer and you're working with TopTal. And I'm just wondering, how's that going for you? Have you been a senior designer for a while now, or is this something new?
Oh, I have recently only become a senior. Before that, I was a junior for about 2 years. So yeah, I've recently gotten a promotion. Yeah, so this is pretty new to me, like having to work with juniors and at the same time having more responsibilities. And yeah, sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming just because of how new it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually saw one of your posts talking about, how you helped a senior designer too. And yeah, I feel like I could probably use some help as well because there has been a lot of, I would say, communication breakdowns. Sometimes I feel like I don't know how to answer the questions that they give me when it comes to assessing my designs, because I feel like as a junior, we don't have to do that. And now that I am a senior, I have to do that. But, there isn't really training for us to be able to navigate that side of things.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your new role. That's exciting that you're moving up in your career. And I completely feel your pain. Now it is part of your responsibility to defend the design decisions of you and your team. So you mentioned a communication breakdown. When was the last time that happened? Like, can you walk me through what happened there? Are you there? Agnes.
Oh no, this is
Wait, you're
not
back.
going
You're back.
well.
You're back. You're back. Did you hear me? Now you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. Where were we?
I asked, so congratulations on your new role. That's very exciting. And I can understand the pain that you're having right now from jumping from the junior designer to senior designer, where it now is your responsibility to defend your design decisions. You mentioned a communication breakdown. And I'm wondering if you have an example, like a recent example of that communication breakdown. And could you walk me through what exactly happened?
Yeah, so this year we were tasked to design a mobile application, right? So as the senior that's on the job, I have to manage the project together with an intern as well as two junior designers, and I have to report to a PM, right? So um, we had a meeting last week to kind of give an update on the prototype that we have for the mobile app. And at that point of time, the PM was there, the dev team was there, and the founder was also there. So yeah, so it was quite a big meeting. It was the first huge meeting that I had, but they kind of just wanted to see the progress, of how it was all going. I was confident in my designs, but I feel like I kind of spiral when I am under so much pressure,
Okay.
because I'm the one who is responsible to communicate the design decisions and just to update them on the progress. And I feel like that is where I start to like kind of not know what words to use, and sometimes I just freak out, and I really wish that I could just hide somewhere at that point of time.
Oh
Like it
no.
was it was so difficult to explain a lot of things. And
Hmm.
yeah, and as a senior, I'm the one who is supposed to do all of that. I couldn't just turn to my juniors and expect them to help me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like at that point of time I did not have control of the situation,
Yeah.
and I am pretty confident that it is just a communication issue because I am confident with the project and with the designs.
Hmm. 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 Okay, so yeah, so it's your visual communication skills are awesome, your designs are great, but it's how you talk about those that are, especially to such a big group. Like that does sound like a pretty big meeting. Are you preparing like a lot of slides beforehand? Are you taking a lot of your time and your work hours to prepare for these meetings?
Well, yes, for that meeting, yes, because of the people who were going to show up.
Mhm.
Yeah, but usually if it were like an internal meeting, a design department meeting, then no. Those types of meetings, I'm able to still navigate through them.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was because of the scale of that meeting that
Mhm.
I had to kind of make a presentation almost,
Mhm.
and I wanted to make sure that it was well documented, that everything was explained clearly.
Mhm.
So yeah, there was a presentation.
Okay, and did you get through the entire presentation?
There were a bit of blunders here and there, so I actually skipped some of them, and I feel like I spent too much time on a few of the slides as well. So
Yeah.
I definitely wish that in some time in the future I'm able to redo all of that and like improve my presentation skills as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't the best one that I had
Okay.
for sure.
Okay, and another when you mentioned too, like, you don't know how to answer their questions, so was that part of this presentation? People were kinda interrupting you and asking you questions, and was that throwing you off? Was that part of it?
Um, I'm not sure actually, but yeah, some of them had some questions through the presentation, but most of them were still reserved till the end of it. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure whether it was the nerves or like what was it, but I didn't feel as in control when I was answering their questions.
Mhm, mhm. That's so interesting. Yeah, I so this as I am a communication coach and I do help people improve their presentations, and I have had clients who, just like you, are now newly in the senior UX role and are feeling a little overwhelmed because of this new responsibility where they are the ones presenting the designs and updating all the stakeholders. So would you mind if I take the next few minutes to just tell you about how I've helped those clients and like what my programs look like?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So with one of my clients, he became a senior designer and found himself over preparing kind of seems like that might have been a little bit what you did, over preparing for meetings when there were multiple stakeholders who he hadn't necessarily communicated with before, because he didn't want to seem unprofessional. But then what was happening was he was showing up, and because there was so much content and so much material that he had thought he had to cover, he ended up coming across a little unprofessional and a little confusing for everybody, because he wasn't used to speaking with the C-suite, right? He wasn't used to having the CEO and the founder in the room, or communicating with, you know, the VP or the project manager or whoever else was there. So that being said, what we did was we worked on his presentation skills so that he could quickly, within 10 minutes before a meeting, prepare his notes, so that even if the technology failed and he had no slides, he still would cover all of the points that he needed to cover at that meeting quickly, succinctly, you know, not taking 40 minutes, but actually he could do it in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever was suitable for that specific time, right? Because sometimes meetings get cut short, and if you haven't been able to give your entire spiel, that's an issue, right? And sometimes they're on the phone, and you actually don't have that opportunity to share all of your slides, and that was really hindering him. So I worked with him to share a technique that I use with clients so that he could prepare within 10 minutes the meeting notes, and then he was always prepared no matter what happened during the meeting. Does that sound like a useful tool that you would be interested in learning about?
I'm not sure. Actually, it sounds like it is a tool to prepare for a meeting. Um, I, like it's a time saving thing.
It does save you a bit of time, but it also allows you to confidently show up to any meeting or any time that you have to communicate within your team. So you could use this tool when you're communicating just within your internal design team. It's a technique that you could use when you're going to these stakeholder meetings. It's a technique that allows you to draft long presentations if that's something that you're looking to do. But really, it is a communication clarification tool that just helps you stay on track, because you said, you know, you might get flustered and feel a little confused when you use a tool like the one that I could show you, and we could practice together. You never feel that way again, and it's something that my clients repeatedly tell me that once they learn it, they use it daily for a number of different situations. So it's a very quick tool, and basically I have some different packages, so it's how you can practice using that tool. So I have 3 sessions, where we can really laser focus on something super specific, but it's only 3 sessions, and we'll only have time to work on one issue. So you mentioned 2 things here. You mentioned that you were having trouble communicating with the team, right? The larger team, but then also that your presentation, just like you said, you had to like skip a few slides, you spent too long on some slides. So there's kind of 2 issues there. So with the 3 sessions, we'd really only have enough time to focus on one of those issues and practice working through that. I also have a confidence booster package, which is 7 sessions. And that might actually be useful for you in this case, because we would be able to practice using this tool in different situations. So could role play some meetings, we could role play some presentations, and you would learn how to take your hour-long presentation and condense it into a few minutes, maybe a longer presentation, but you'd have this wiggle room that you could play with no matter where you were showing up. Um, that sounds like the best option for you, from my perspective, is 7 sessions, because you are newly in this role. You've obviously have the skills and the ability to be there, so you have some confidence, you know, in your visual communication. So this is just kind of tweaking and toning uh, your communication skills so that you're at that level where you no longer feel flustered, or out of control, right? Like you have the control in the meetings. The last package that I have is called the Ultimate Transformation Package. And this is a package that most of my clients do tend to take. It is 13 sessions long, so it is longer. And we do a lot more, we have a lot more time to do role playing. And this is actually, it's an interesting package because you end up getting video recordings of yourself. So just out of curiosity, have you ever recorded yourself giving a presentation before?
Oh no.
No. Okay. Okay. So you know what? I take it back. Probably the Ultimate Transformation Package might be the one for you, because what we do is just like an elite athlete trains, they always record themselves so that they can watch their tapes back and see what little things that they were doing. You know, is your head down while you're presenting? Are you constantly touching your neck? What are these stressors or these uh, behaviors that you exhibit when you are giving a presentation? You'll never know those until you record yourself. So during and review those tapes, and then start to make a habit of noticing when those are happening. And so this Ultimate Transformation Package, it's 13 sessions, and we do a lot of different video recordings. And because we have the 13 sessions, we have enough time to go back and review the tapes. Another question, have you ever reviewed transcripts from a presentation? Like if you've maybe had an audio recording, have you ever reviewed a transcript from what you've said?
Oh no, we have never recorded audio.
No? Okay, so never recorded anything at all. Okay. So the good thing about any one of the packages that you choose from me, I always audio record. As you can tell, Otter's on the call right now with us. This whole session, you will receive a transcript and an audio recording of it. This is something that I definitely practice with everybody because it gives you the opportunity to go back, review what you've said and how you've said it, so you can check your tone. You can see if you're using filler words. You can see if you are clearly coming across or if your ideas are all over the place and there's no direction. So it really gives you tangible text. That's what I like to call it, is tangible text to play with. You can copy and paste certain parts, and it makes your words tangible. So you know exactly what you're saying, how you're saying it, and when you're saying it. So it helps you construct a narrative. It helps with presentations because if you give it once, you can tweak it and make it better for the next time. So that's something that I do with all of the different packages, but with the difference with the Ultimate Transformation is we also add the video recording. So now you're not only just dealing with your tone and the text, you're also seeing yourself and you're seeing how others see you when you present. So you can really work on how you command a room. You can work on just what it looks like when you are stressed out, because often when we're stressed out, we don't know that we're clinging to ourselves or shriveling up into a little ball and like clenching, right? Like, and that doesn't come across professional. So you can really start to analyze that and then work on that. And because we have 13 sessions, you have enough time to work on that. So do any of those packages sound interesting to you?
I think so far from what you're sharing with me, I might be the most interested in the middle package, the one with the
Mhm.
7 sessions.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think like working more on the way I communicate during a meeting, like that seems like it is sufficient for me, at least for now.
Mhm. Mhm. Awesome. Okay. And yeah, exactly. In 7 sessions, we could absolutely work on your communication skills. You will be an expert at, using this tool that I keep mentioning. I call it the bubble method, but you'll be an expert at it, and you'll be able to apply that for any of the meetings that you have to show up to, and also for just your regular communication. You're a UX designer. You're constantly presenting things. You're constantly communicating with people, right? Like it's your job to communicate with all the different stakeholders. So this is something that will even benefit you if you're in your user research stage. No matter what stage of the project you're at, you'll be able to use this tool, and 7 sessions is definitely enough time to have to work on that. So would you like to know the price of the Confidence Booster package?
Yes.
Okay, so for the Confidence Booster package, you actually end up saving 20% per session by taking the 7 sessions, because the more sessions you take, the cheaper it gets. And so it is $830 Canadian for the 7 sessions. And that includes the audio transcript, the text transcript. We'll come up with action plans. It's an extremely interactive workshop. So you'll have a lot of take home stuff that you can review and go over. You don't even have to really worry about taking so many notes. Like, you can be very engaged during our session, which is what I think my clients really enjoy. And they're super fun. We have a really good time in them. Uh, so would you like to start? Like, I have an opening to start either this week, if you want, on Thursday. I have an opening, or we could even do, today's Wednesday. We could do Wednesdays at this time. If you're free, we can start that if you'd like. I can save that
Uh,
for you.
yeah, I think it sounds good, but do you have any like testimonials or results that I can take a look at to kind of understand more about how the sessions will go?
Absolutely. Do you follow, like, I on LinkedIn, all I've been posting lately are my client testimonials. People are saying that they love how cheerful I am, they love how interactive the sessions are, and that they're very happy with how they can use the tools and they apply them to so many different aspects of their life, both professionally and personal lives, and that they're using these tools daily. So if you give me a second, I can actually just pull up my LinkedIn and show you some of those testimonials right now. Boop, boop, boop. Pretend I did that. Okay.
Okay.
And so, did any of those speak to you? Do you resonate with any of those clients who I've worked with?
Yeah, I think quite a few of them have gone through something similar. So yeah, I feel like the program that you shared, the tools, are definitely gonna help me out as well.
Totally. I totally agree. So, when would you like to start?
Okay, let's start tomorrow. Are you
Yep.
able to do tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay, sure. Let's do tomorrow then.
Perfect. Okay. And so after our first session, we'll collect the payment and we'll be good to go. I will see you tomorrow, Agnes. I will send you an invite. Do you prefer the morning or the afternoon?
Let's go with the afternoon.
Afternoon? Okay. I will send you an invite for tomorrow afternoon, and then we will start our sessions together for the 7 session package. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for you to take this step. And I know that it's going to really significantly impact your communication skills. So I cannot wait to start. I will see you tomorrow.
All
Bye,
right, I'll
Agnes.
see you. Bye. And see.
And see.
How did that feel?
I mean, it's pretty good. I definitely, I choked a few times. It's straight up choked. Um, but I think it's interesting too. Like, if I did share testimonials like during it, like, I've never shown things like, and it's
Mhm.
interesting because usually 3 years ago, the first session, I would actually because I had different technology, I would show my screen and I would be I'd be making a bubble and making the notes. And that's actually what sold people on it. They were like, oh, this is really
Mhm.
interesting. I want to learn this. So I think actually showing something during the call, whether it's the testimonials, or I think the testimonials would actually really work. Um, I've never thought of that. So I should have that ready to go and
Mhm.
be like, oh, look, I can show you what these people have said about it, and just have
Mhm.
those little slides. And then,
Mhm.
because they're great testimonials, people love it. So I feel like that would really help sell it. So that was good. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Um, I didn't give the prices right away just because I find I get really overwhelmed with numbers when they're like being spoken at me. I like can't handle that. And so I also like don't just like saying them like that because I just like can't. I just get super overwhelmed when like tons of numbers are coming at me. So that's why I didn't do it. But how do you feel about that? Because like you gave me the prices and stuff, but like for me that just like goes like pretty much over my head when I get like chunks of numbers that way and I can't like see them. So what do you think about not giving the prices? What are your thoughts?
Okay. Well, I think I can't answer that like as a standalone. So let me just give you the my feedback like for the whole call, like,
Okay.
from start to end. Okay. So for the start, I mean, obviously, I already told you that I find that it's a little bit too long-winded.
Yeah.
Because like I applied to come on a call. I
Yeah.
already know that you're gonna sell me something. Like that's the whole point of getting on a sales call. So
Yeah.
for the small talk at the front, I feel like it's a little bit unnecessary in a
Okay.
sense because we are both there for a very clear reason. It's not like it's a cold sales call. Technically, it's not cold, right? Because
Right.
people are gonna DM you. People are the ones coming to you.
Sometimes it is
So
cold though. Sometimes
if
it
it's
is.
cold, it's a different conversation
Okay.
altogether.
Okay.
Okay. But in the case of a warm call, right, like what I said during the call, I saw that you helped a fellow senior UX designer. That's
Yeah.
why I feel like you could help me too. So
Yeah.
if the person came to you, then you might want to just cut straight to the chase
Cut straight
because
to
they
it.
probably already done their research on you
Right.
before they came on a call.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just me.
Yeah.
And then I thought the questions, it was really well done because it really sounded like you have heard it before, like you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Cool.
And but when you started to sell, I was a little bit confused because at first you were selling a tool. And
Right.
then I was like, okay, so I'm here for a tool.
Yeah, no, I know. I was like, why am I talking so much about this tool? As I was talking about it, I was like,
Yeah.
that's not
So
what I'm
that was
doing.
the first part. Like, okay, there's a
Yeah.
tool. Like
Yeah.
I was confused. Definitely
Yeah.
I was confused.
Yeah.
And then you started telling me about the packages.
Yeah.
And then I was like a little bit more confused because now there are 3 packages and you were going through one by one in more detail. Right. So the problem with detail is that when you are going through 3 different things,
Yeah.
I can't remember all of them.
Right.
Right. If it's 2 different packages, then yeah, because like, oh, the difference between A and B is this
Right.
and that. So it's easier to remember. But when it comes to 3, I would actually suggest you to have it on the screen.
Right. Okay.
It's kind of like a soda menu where you have the small, medium, large.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So another thing is the way that you tell your price, right? Because I told you I was interested in the 7 session package, so you told me that I saved 20%. But the problem is I never knew that I saved 20%. I have no idea what is that 100% that I
Right.
saved 20% off.
Right. Right.
So actually, when it comes to numbers, it is good to be a bit more visual. And when you are comparing between the packages, also be more visual because you have 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I hope I answered your question with regards to the
Totally.
pricing.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, and I think towards the end, you were selling something else. I think I asked you about the time, right? Like it sounds like it is a time saving thing
Mm.
or something like that. So you were selling the time, but I never mentioned that, I had no control of the time during my presentation.
No, because I'd asked you, did you prepare? Did you take a long time to prepare? And you said, yes, I did. I said, okay, well,
But what was the reason that I took a long time to prepare?
because it was for like the CEO. but that shouldn't
Mhm.
matter in my opinion. That's why
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
it probably means like it is a emotional thing, like a compensating kind of thing,
okay,
rather than a time problem,
okay,
right? So most of the time, when it comes to confidence related issues, from my experience, I always realize that it is just an insecurity problem.
yeah, yeah,
Like if you overcompensate it with like luxury goods or like with time or with status, that's why people want to go to like big companies to work. It's because deep down you're not good enough for anything else.
right. So you're insecure, and that's why you put so much time. It's not actually that like you
Yes.
want to save
It's
time.
not actually a time
Um,
problem.
Emotional. Okay, okay,
Right. Because as someone who is an employee, it's actually okay for them to take a ton of time. They
that's
don't want
crazy.
to work fast.
That's crazy. That's
But
insane.
if they
That's
are business owners, then yes, you want to save them time.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's not my mentality at all. I hate when people like are like, "Oh, I get paid hourly." I'm like, "Ew, ew, get out of here." But that makes sense. But that's why I wouldn't think of that because that's not even close to my mentality. Okay, so it's not a time thing. It's an emotional thing. It's an insecurity thing.
Do you take any notes?
About what you said? No. No.
Okay, so you might
No,
want to
because
give
I can
that a
remember.
try.
I
No,
can
no, no. That
remember.
the point is not remembering, but rather it's like the way you do the bubble method, right? You want to have it. You want to have all the vital information mapped out right in front of you. So at
Mhm.
any point, you're like, okay, I hear that you have this problem, but I don't think this is the root cause. I think
Yeah.
this other thing is the root cause because you also told me that you had this, and this right from the start of the sales call. So,
Yeah.
like, straight away, they'll be like, damn, you know what you're talking about. But actually, no, it's just because you mapped it all out in your notes. You have that bubble method.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The problem with me doing that, I have to work on that because I have two modes. I can either listen and like, oh my God,
Mm,
my hair is going crazy. I can either like listen and be like really attentive and like get everything that you're saying and communicate with you, like and talk with you, or I can map everything out on the bubble. Like I
mm,
don't have an in between of like, oh, I'll just like take this quick note. Like I'm like literally writing what they're saying completely, which is why those bubbles were so great because like they get mapped out with like everything that someone's saying, but like I have like two modes. Like I
mm,
can't do both. So like sometimes like I had notes in front of me that just like gave me the outline that I was like kind of looking at. But
mm,
as soon as I pick up a pen, I go into like Hillary researcher mode, which is like silent observer listener, like not really like but that is something I can work on and like
mm.
try and figure out how I can
Okay.
manage those two things because like
Mm,
I have a pretty good memory, so I just kind of like rely on that because the call is
mm,
like not very long, so
mm,
I know that I can like keep all that information in. But I appreciate what you're saying for sure. Like yeah, I could I think I would just have to like slow it down so then it wouldn't
mm,
become as conversational. It would become more of like just like going through the motions of something.
mm,
So I mean that maybe that would give me more sales. I don't know. But that I think is like the difference in why I don't do it is because like it's like
mm,
conversation, and in conversation I'm not like taking notes. I like just remember. And then when I meet people, they're like, "How did you remember that?" I'm like, "I was like really
mm,
listening to you." So I
mm.
kind of have, but I mean like I have the ability to take notes. So yeah,
Well,
that's
the notes doesn't have to be every single thing. Obviously, I don't take down every single thing because most of them are just details, but I don't want details. I want to know how you feel, what
mm-hmm,
is the problem that you face, like all the small little keywords, right? So for my case earlier, it would be like, I blundered during a meeting,
mm-hmm,
and the meeting I will probably bracket huge stakeholders.
right,
But small meetings, I have no problem. So that was something that I'm going to take note on, right?
right,
Because these are the small details that make a huge difference. But
right,
yeah, a lot of the things that I mentioned, I probably wouldn't take notes myself. because a lot of
Okay.
them don't matter. It's all the small little things.
Right.
Um, yeah, and you mentioned earlier, like, reducing your meetings to like from a very conversational type of meeting
Yeah.
to a little bit more controlled, like steering the ship.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be a lot better because I wouldn't say that, manipulating is a strong word, but rather, taking control of the narrative so that when the person responses, they have no room to kind of like feel wary or think like, oh my God, why are you asking this question? You just want them to
Right.
answer your question right away. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's not aggressive.
Right.
Right. So I feel
Right.
like you were kind of at the other spectrum of aggressive where you are so friendly.
Yeah.
Like that was just the vibe that I got. It felt like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was at a cafe gonna have a chat with someone who has experience, maybe
Yeah.
like a friend introduced you to me or something like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like when it comes to sales, it's very easy to lose the person that way because when it comes down to the last part, which is you actually selling your packages,
Yeah.
it might come as a surprise because at the front it is so friendly, it is so
Right.
conversational, right?
That
So
is fair. That
mm,
makes a lot of sense.
that was how
Okay.
I felt.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. No, no, no. I'm sure everyone feels that way. Cause like I constantly get the like, oh, it just feels like I was like at a cafe with a friend, but like you're not gonna like give your friend $1,000.
Yeah.
You know? No, that's really interesting. That's really, really interesting. Yeah. So then maybe if I did take the notes, it would take that down a little bit because I wouldn't be super conversational and like engaged that way. I would be engaged differently. Right.
Mm.
So, I mean, I'm going to try it. I have to today. I'm going to try with the notes and then
Okay.
not taking down everything like I typically do, but like those small details, like you were talking about, like huge stakeholders, like that would be the note to take, like
Mm.
finding those key pressure point words of like emotion. So I have to like tune up my emotion scale, which is like not what I like doing at all, but that's fine.
Mm.
I can do that. I can do it. I've been working on it. Oh,
Okay.
I think that's part of the reason why I like showing up friendly is because it controls the emotion of things. You know what I mean? Like if you show up friendly and vibrant, everyone else kind of like emulates that. Like they become friendly and vibrant. And if they're not, like they stick out super hardcore. So I think that it's like, I wouldn't say it's like uh insecurity, but like it's a technique that I've learned, I guess, to like raise the room, you know what I mean? And like
Mm.
have people do that so I can also keep the room level. And it's just like about being comfortable enough to do that and not having to like be a show, right? Because like when I was learning how to do that, I was like a show, like literally you had to be a show. And so I
Mm.
don't necessarily have to do that for sales, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I think that that's going to be an interesting transition to make. But I can do it. Just takes
Mm.
practice, lots of practice,
Okay. So how many sales calls do you have lined up?
Lined up. Let me
Mm-hmm.
see. Let me see. This past week I had a bunch, but like today I have two, tomorrow I have one, Friday I don't have any yet. And then next week I have two so far. I still have to like reach out to people. This past week I had one, two, three, four. So many no-shows. Hate no-shows.
Mm.
So annoying. So annoying. But whatever. Fine. I had a few, but a lot of them are no-shows. So yeah, I think the two today will be really interesting.
Okay.
I'm gonna try doing the notes. The one tomorrow morning, again, I'll try and do the notes and be like more chill. I won't ask them about where they're at or where they're from or like keep it like we're obviously showing up to this conversation for something. So yeah, I'll let you know how it goes.
Okay.
And I also have like I yeah, it's
Where did you get these sales calls from? Like, was it
LinkedIn.
outreach or?
LinkedIn outreach. Yeah,
Okay, so you DM'd them.
DM them.
Okay.
hey, shut up in my feed. LinkedIn said that we should connect. Like, I help. I at first they said I'm seeking da 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 da, and then everyone thought I was like offering a job, so I had to change it to I
Mm,
help or I coach. Um, and then it was like, if you want to respond, respond. If not, like no biggie, whatever. I'm here. Your
mm,
call. And then a lot of people responded back, and so then I just sent them. I was like, great, let's jump on a call. And then some of them who gave me like a ton of information. So I have like two different calls, like two different initial calls. If they give me a ton of information at first, I put them through to a consultation call. If they like don't give me a lot of information and I'm not really even sure like if there's someone who I can really help or like what's going on, I give
mm,
them a discovery call. And then based on that discovery call, like if it goes really well, like yesterday our discovery call went really well, and like a few minutes before the end of it I was like, "Oh, we're almost at time here. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Um if you no, I said we're almost at the time. Do you have a few extra minutes to spare and I can actually go through uh, a brief consultation with you, or would you like to book another time where we can go through an entire consultation call?" And he was like, "No, I have time. Like, let's go. Let's do it now." So then we just like jumped into that, and then I went through all of the details. But the discovery call is like really quick. It's 15 minutes. And
mm.
if they are a fit, great. If they're not a fit, great. If they have more time, great. If they don't, that's fine. But then I just like book them in for like a longer period of time. So that's a new thing that I've just started trying to do, to kind of like differentiate between someone who's like given me a ton of issues and a ton of problems already that I can just kind of like jump into it, versus someone who it's like basically cold and I like don't know them
Mm,
and they don't know me and like we don't really know what's going on. And then we can do a follow up with a consultation call. So I'm not just like jumping on in the first 15 minutes asking you for like $1,000. You know what I mean? We
mhm,
have like a
mhm.
little bit of a warm up. So that's something new that I've tried over the past 2 weeks. It's okay. I'm not sure if it's like really working or not, but it's something I'm trying out, because with Calendly I can set up a bunch of different links. So because another thing I was thinking of was possibly having the discovery call, and then if they're really interested in but they're unsure, then doing a consultation call that's like $30 or something that's like nominal, but like that they pay for and that they will show up to, so that they're not like just not showing up to things because it's so annoying. So I'm not really sure. I'm playing around with that though. So if you have any tips for that or like ideas for that, it's
Well,
interesting.
I think it doesn't matter, um, because at the end of the day, it is still, your personal brand, your content, the proof of competence content that I shared with you.
Hmm.
Like, I feel those are the reasons why like people come to you, and they are the reason. That's the reason why people actually show up. That's
Right.
what I feel. Like that
Right.
is what really makes the difference. Like once you have that stack of undeniable proof,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where they'll be like, okay, I'm just gonna show up. If they do sell me, like I'm just gonna not buy it. Like
Yeah.
that's their
Yeah.
mindset. So at least I get something out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the only advice that I have. For everything else, definitely whatever you're doing is really great. Just experimenting, going out there and trying things out. So yeah, that it's definitely good to do all of that.
Yeah.
But if you don't work on your content and your personal branding, then it's really tough to see any type of result at all.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. You don't see anything. And actually those posts have been doing way better than other posts on LinkedIn. Like the ones that I just like show a client testimonial and like
Mhm.
tag the client, way better. Like
Mhm.
people people are like, oh, that's great. So and I just think even for just that proof, that social proof side of it, that's really helpful. So and I have like many more of those. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So yeah. Oh, I'm tired now. I have to like have like a break before because like my next I have the sales calls like soon. So
Okay, I
that was
think
really good though. I think that
yeah,
that's really, really good. And I
we
know,
had a great session with
yeah,
role play today, so
role
that was
play.
fun, but not so fun, you know.
Fun and exhausting and exhilarating and terrifying, but like it was good. No, I think that was like really, really good. Very
Mm-hmm.
helpful. Very, very helpful.
That's good. That's good. Well, that is our first session on the sales role play and sales training. So definitely, I look forward to our next session where you give me an update on how things are going for you. Uh, yeah. So I know that you have more sales call coming up. You're probably exhausted. So am I. So we will call it a day for today. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
No, just like I think, we both said that we're both introverts and that
Mm,
that's actually very difficult for us to like step out and do these things. But I think the more that people do stuff like this, the better that they'll become. So, like, it is good to step out of your shell, get exhausted, be terrified, try it, and get the feedback than to just sit with yourself doing it your own way forever. So, I really appreciate that you've spent this time with me doing this today. That you even took on the sales challenge also. So kudos to us. And I know that we'll both just keep improving. So woohoo, journey.
Yay. Oh,
Cool.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I am exhausted.
No, I know it's exhausting. I like literally need to have like a 10-minute nap.
All right, then I guess that is all for today. I will see you next week. Hopefully, my Wi Fi is like up and running by next week, but that is pretty unlikely. So,
Yeah.
oh, our session's not next week, it's
It's
following
next week.
week.
Yeah.
Okay, then in that case,
That'll be
it's
good.
definitely gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
All
We're good.
right, thanks, Hillary. I'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Agnes. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye bye.